Did The Simpsons predict the future? It sounds crazy, but some of their eeriest predictions have already come true years before the events even happened. What if I told you The Simpsons knew about the Higgs Boson, 9/11s, and even COVID-19 all before they unfolded? Stick around and I'll show you how. Since 1989, The Simpsons has been a beloved staple of television, entertaining millions with its sharp wit, satirical humor, and the unforgettable antics of the Simpson family. But beneath the surface of this quirky animated sitcom, something far stranger has been unfolding, something that has left fans scratching their heads and wondering, is there more to The Simpsons than meets the eye? For decades, the show has baffled viewers by seemingly predicting major global events, sometimes years, even decades before they actually happen. How could a simple cartoon about family life and society manage to capture such uncanny glimpses of the future? From scientific breakthroughs to global pandemics, The Simpsons has eerily depicted real-world events in ways that defy explanation. Could it be mere coincidence, or is there something deeper at play, something that goes beyond sharp cultural observation? The Higgs Boson discovery, a mathematical prophecy in 1998. In the 1998 episode, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson, driven by his admiration for Thomas Edison, embarks on an impossible journey to invent something groundbreaking. In one particularly memorable scene, Homer writes a complex equation on a chalkboard, an absurd moment that encapsulates his usual bungling attempts at brilliance. At first glance, the equation seems like a chaotic jumble of symbols, a hallmark of Homer's misguided endeavors. But upon closer inspection, the equation closely resembles the formula for the mass of the Higgs boson particle, a pivotal component of the standard model of particle physics. The Higgs boson had been a theoretical concept for decades, a piece of the scientific puzzle that stumped researchers for years. However, in 2012, after years of research and experimentation, scientists at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, finally confirmed the particle's existence. The shockingly close resemblance between Homer's chalkboard equation and the values later observed by physicists was nothing short of remarkable. How could a show that focuses on the comedic misadventures of a bumbling father have accurately predicted such a groundbreaking scientific discovery? The equation wasn't just vaguely similar, it was eerily precise. The timing of Homer's chalkboard moment, which aired 14 years before the actual discovery, raises the unsettling question: could this be mere coincidence? Or did the Simpsons writers somehow foresee a scientific revelation that would change the course of particle physics? The intricacy of this prediction, one that reshaped the scientific understanding of the universe, adds a layer of mystery that fans are still grappling with today. While some attribute this to the writers' broad understanding of science and creative guesswork, the exactness of the equation is difficult to ignore. Could this be the result of sheer luck, or was there something more mysterious at work here? This instance has remained one of the most celebrated and perplexing examples of The Simpsons' seemingly prophetic abilities. The Ebola outbreak, a 1997 warning. In 1997, The Simpsons aired an episode titled Lisa's Sacks, featuring a throwaway line where Marge suggests that Lisa read Curious George and the Ebola virus. At first, this seems like a quirky, offhand remark, a simple and harmless joke about an obscure virus. But years later, it would gain a chilling, almost prophetic significance. In 2014, the world was gripped by one of the most devastating Ebola outbreaks in history, with thousands of lives lost in West Africa and a global panic as the virus spread. As the world struggled to contain the outbreak, fans of The Simpsons quickly pointed out the eerie similarity between the show's 1997 reference and the real-world crisis. How could a 1997 episode predict such a deadly event with such uncanny timing? The reference to Ebola seemed like little more than a playful jab at obscure health concerns, but when the virus became a global epidemic, the timing of the show's prediction took on a much darker significance. Was this merely another random joke, or did The Simpsons somehow tap into a future disaster that would ravage the world? The fact that the reference occurred more than 15 years before the outbreak raises uncomfortable questions about the show's ability to predict global crises. While some dismiss the joke as coincidental, the specific nature of the reference, coupled with the global scope of the actual Ebola outbreak, makes it difficult to ignore. This episode serves as a chilling reminder of how The Simpsons has often anticipated world-changing events, often before the full scale of those events even becomes apparent to the public. The 9/11 attacks, a striking coincidence. One of the most widely discussed and unsettling instances in The Simpsons involves the September 11th attacks. In the 1997 episode, The City of New York vs. Homer Simpson, a scene shows a magazine cover displaying the words New York $9 next to an image of the Twin Towers. At the time, this was a light-hearted moment, a humorous backdrop for Homer's chaotic trip to New York City. But in the wake of the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the scene's significance took on an eerie new light. The juxtaposition of the Twin Towers with the number 9 raised troubling questions. How could this seemingly innocuous moment have so closely mirrored one of the most horrific tragedies in modern history? At the time the episode aired, such an event seemed inconceivable. Yet, after 9/11, the reference became hauntingly prescient. The image of the Twin Towers, paired with the coincidence that destroyed the Lincoln Tunnel, seemed like more than just a coincidence. This moment is often cited as one of the most unsettling examples of the Simpsons' uncanny ability to predict future events. While most would argue it was a simple, unfortunate coincidence, the fact remains that the episode eerily reflected a tragedy that would unfold just 4 years later. The scene raises profound questions about how art and reality sometimes intersect in ways that defy explanation. COVID-19, the Osaka flu, and the global pandemic. In the 1993 episode Marge in Chains, The Simpsons tackled the theme of viral outbreaks with the fictional Osaka flu. The virus spreads rapidly across the United States, causing widespread panic, quarantines, and chaos. The humorous portrayal of the outbreak seemed like just another absurd Simpsons plotline, but in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, the episode's similarities to real-world events are hard to ignore. In 2020, as COVID-19 swept across the globe, fans of the show couldn't help but notice the striking parallels between the Osaka flu and the real-life pandemic. Both viruses spread quickly, triggered mass fear, and forced countries into lockdowns. Entire cities were quarantined, and societies were disrupted in ways that felt eerily similar to the events depicted in the 1923 episode. Was it just a coincidence that The Simpsons managed to predict a pandemic of such scale, or did the writers somehow tap into an unavoidable global crisis long before it became reality? While the idea that the show's writers could have predicted COVID-19 seems far-fetched, the parallels are undeniable. The Osaka flu, which was a fictional creation designed to parody viral outbreaks, mirrors the real-life pandemic in ways that are hard to dismiss. The event has prompted many to revisit The Simpsons' portrayal of the outbreak with a new sense of awe and unease, raising the question, how could they have known? A pattern of predictions. What's behind it? The instances above are just a few of the many moments where The Simpsons seems to have predicted world events with uncanny precision. From scientific discoveries to global health crises, the show's seemingly prophetic ability to forecast major events raises an unsettling question. How do they do it? Some suggest that the writers' deep understanding of societal trends, their ability to read cultural and scientific undercurrents, and their sharp observational skills enable them to predict potential future developments. Others argue that with such a vast library of content and hundreds of episodes, coincidences are bound to occur over time. Yet, when such uncanny predictions emerge with eerie accuracy, it's hard not to wonder, is there something more at play here? Regardless of the explanation, these inexplicable predictions have only added to the cultural mystique surrounding The Simpsons. Whether by chance, design, or something more mysterious, the show has cemented its place not just as a reflection of modern life, but as an unsettling window into the future. Its legacy will continue to spark curiosity and debate for years to come, leaving viewers to wonder, did The Simpsons know something we didn't?